Dad said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all. And the dad said he.
Hi everyone, I'm Ms. Kim, and I will be helping your teachers here at St. Luke's, and I can't wait to meet each and every one of you. But it's a bit difficult in our current situation right now, so I had to be a little creative. This summer, every week, I will be telling you stories about some of my all-time favorite heroes. Let's see if you can guess what type of hero I will be describing. They started out with lives just like you and me, ordinary people. They had a few simple talents and skills. They came from every walk of life. Some were rich, some were poor, some were educated, some had just simple, skilled jobs. They came from every corner of the world: Italy, Korea, Brazil, Egypt. Some even came from the United States, every continent around the world. But they all had one thing in common that led to amazing, miraculous events. Can you guess which hero I'm talking about? That's right, the saints. The saints began their lives just like ordinary people, just like you and me. But they put God first. They listened to Him carefully, so His Son, Jesus Christ, could work through him or her, so extraordinary things could happen. And now this person, or saint, lives up in heaven with God. And just as we may ask a friend to pray for us when we need extra help, we could ask the saint to pray for us too. And guess what? We're all called to be saints. Sounds pretty hard, right? But just like when you first learned how to walk, you didn't just run right away. First, you might have crawled, you stood up, then you took the first few steps, and before you knew it, you were walking. Well, same here. You might start with doing small acts of kindness filled with lots of love, and before you know it, you might become a saint one day too. So let's get started on our first hero. Our hero of the week is Saint Elizabeth of Hungary. Elizabeth was born a very long time ago in Germany. Do you know where Germany is? If you don't, look it up. She was a princess and had everything she could ever ask for. At a very young age, it was arranged for her to marry the King of Hungary. Although that seems kind of weird today, it was very common during Elizabeth's time. So at the age of 14, Elizabeth became a queen. And she was happily married, lived in a great big castle with lots of servants. She had beautiful clothes and beautiful jewelry, had lots of parties with lots of food. She ate so much. She was full every night. She also had 3 beautiful children, and she was a wonderful mom. Now, Elizabeth could have remained happy as a queen, enjoying her beautiful parties, lots of food, but Elizabeth wasn't happy because even as a little girl, she knew that wealth and living in a palace were not the important things in life. She was raised to follow the teachings of Jesus. She remembered what she had learned, what Jesus said about the poor, that one should live on what one needs and give the rest to the poor. So Elizabeth knew how poor and sickly the people were who lived below the mountain. And this upset Queen Elizabeth very much. So she got to work. So she got some money and some food, and every day she would go out of her big castle down the mountain. And she herself would go into the homes and feed the poor and help take care of the sick. And when that wasn't enough, she built a hospital and every day went in the hospital and helped take care of the sick herself. Well, inside the castle, the rumors began and they were gossiping. Oh, that's so horrible. That's improper behavior for a queen. Can you imagine what the queen's doing? And the rumors started and it got back to the king's mother. King's mother went to her son, the king. So the king's mother was furious and went to her son and told her son to speak directly to Elizabeth and told her that Elizabeth had to stop stealing from the royal dining table to feed the poor. The king's mother banned Elizabeth from stealing from the royal table, and if she kept doing that, there would be severe punishment. What should she do? What would you do? Wouldn't you be afraid about the severe punishment? Elizabeth was so upset. She didn't know what to do. But she kind of knew what to do, because Elizabeth knew what Jesus taught her as a little girl and what to listen to, which voice, the voice inside her. So she decided to take off her crown and to disguise herself and go in the middle of the night. And her servant helped her to steal and go out the back way. And she took extra bread, see? And she went and snuck in the middle of the night in the back door, thinking no one would recognize her. And just as she was about to turn the knob, who showed up but the king? The king bellowed, "Elizabeth, show me what's in your basket right this minute." Elizabeth was so afraid because she knew she was caught. That was it. Her mother-in-law was laughing. Aha, we've got her now. So Elizabeth opened her basket, knowing the bread was in there, opened her basket, pulled back the towel. And what did she see? A bouquet of roses. God had intervened, and God had protected Elizabeth. Elizabeth was only 24 years old when she died. She lived in great comfort. She could have remained high in the mountains in her beautiful castle, far from the misery and suffering below her. But she did not. She looked out of her windows, saw the suffering, and saw the sick and the hungry and the orphans in the street. She saw this and listened to Jesus. Listened to the important voice. So, boys and girls, like St. Elizabeth of Hungary this week, can you think of some gifts or talents you might have to benefit others? How might you offer them to those who need them the most? Let me know. Get in touch with me at St. Luke's. I'd love to hear how you did it. So, know that we are praying for you at St. Luke's, and we hope that you will keep us in your prayers as well. Until then, stay safe, make good choices. See you next week.
The dance said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all. In the dance said he.